Hi guys, this is Kimi Yanks and welcome to my YouTube channel. Even though I'm in Ferrari overalls, I won't be talking about Formula 1, but rather shifting my focus to racing on two wheels. I'll be discussing all that has unfolded up until now in the 2025 MotoGP season. Well, we have 22 races on the calendar. We are 6 rounds in, and after the Silverstone race this weekend, we would be completing practically one third of the 2025 season. So, what has transpired thus far? Who is on top? Who is struggling? And what can we predict from the rest of the season? And who could be the contenders to the crown for the 2025 MotoGP title? Ducati has been the dominant force in the world of MotoGP, and 2025 seems to be no different. Even though Jorge Martin, who is the reigning world champion, having won his world title on the Pramac Ducati last year, which was a customer Ducati team, he chose to move away from the Italian marquee and go to their Italian rivals in Aprilia. We have unfortunately not been able to see him race full pelt because of two heavy crashes. One, of course, happening in the pre-season test, and then in Qatar, where he suffered another shock to his ribs and is still struggling to get back on his feet. It's really gut-wrenching to see the reigning world champion on the sidelines, and we wish Jorge Martin a speedy recovery. Anyways, coming back to the action on track, we have had Marc Marquez, an 8-time world champion, join factory Ducati Lenovo, partnering Pecco, the double world champion there at Ducati. And of course, the jury was split at the start of the season, where people thought that Pecco, since he's had more time on that Ducati, would be the one who actually edges out Marc Marquez in terms of performance. So talking about Marc Marquez, he currently leads the World Championship, sitting pretty on 171 points, 22 points clear of his younger brother Alex Marquez. He's had 3 wins to his name: Thailand, Argentina and Qatar. One major blip was Kota, where he actually crashed from the lead, going over a rumble strip that was still wet, and that caused him loss in grip and he crashed. And of course, that race in Spain, where again he was leading and crashed, but did recover to finish P12. Importantly, in Le Mans, which was an inclement weather hit race, Marc was able to keep his Ducati straight and finish P2 right behind an unlikely victory that was backed by Johan Zarco for the LCR Honda. Experts and fans alike thought that it would be Pecco who would take the fight to Marc Marquez, but amazingly Pecco is P3 in the championship and 51 points adrift. For some, I think Pecco is already out of the world title fight, but I would still say it's early days. In P2, however, we have Alex Marquez, who is Marc's younger brother and who was Marc's teammate last season in the Gresini Ducati, riding an year older bike, the GP24, and doing wonders on that bike. He's been dubbed Mr. P2 in 2025 because of his frequent P2 finishes, be it the sprint races or the Grand Prix. However, Marc's mistake in Spain did see Alex capitalize and bag his first ever win in MotoGP. All that momentum and all that confidence also Alex is undoing in Le Mans, and Alex unfortunately crashed out of the race and returned all the advantage back to Marc Marquez eventually in that fight. Well, if I were to look at Pecco, Pecco has 1 win to his name in Kota. He has 3 podium finishes: P3 in Thailand, P2 in Qatar and P3 in Spain. And in France, he too, just like Alex Marquez, had an error on the opening lap and was able to recover only till P16. If you look at the other Ducati riders like Morbidelli, Fabio Di Antonio or Aldeguer for that matter, they are there in and about, but they aren't consistent enough every race weekend to produce the results that a rider like Marc Marquez is able to bring home. can safely say that this season it is going to be Mark versus Alex, the Marquez brothers, who will be fighting it out for the title, with Pecco Bagnaia probably capitalizing whenever there is an error from either of these two riders to ensure that he still remains in the title hunt, he still remains relevant in 2025. So what's been troubling Pecco Bagnaia in 2025? Well, he's one of the best riders when it comes to corner entry and late braking, and Pecco Bagnaia has not been able to extract the same level of confidence when it comes to the front end braking on the GP25 versus the GP24. Even though the Ducati boss Davide Tardossi says that the 2025 bike is only slightly better than the 2024, there are always little differences which actually brings out the deficit on race day. And even though Ducati is really pushing hard to ensure that Pecco Bagnaia is able to regain his confidence and is able to ride the way he has ridden all these years for Ducati, it seems to be a really tough ask for him to do it consistently. Well, in some of the race debriefs, Pecco has hinted that slowly he's getting used to riding the bike the way he wants to ride it, and that is good news for Pecco and his fans. And I do hope that we get to see Pecco in a better position against Mark at the midpoint of the season. Well, at the same time, you also have to look at the other contenders, guys like Morbidelli and Fabio Di Antonio, or Fabio Quartararo for that matter. Fabio has been a very big surprise factor, taking pole positions, remaining in the mix when it comes to the sprint races, and although he's not been able to convert his pole positions into podium finishes in the Grand Prix, he is quite nearly there in the mix amongst the Ducatis, helping Yamaha to ensure a level of competitiveness in a Ducati-dominated field. At the same time, if you look at the likes of no more Repsol Honda, sorry, LCR Honda, or the factory Honda for that matter, Johan Mir and Luca Marini have been having some level of performance, although it's not really the level that Honda would be hoping for. But Johan Zarco's victory in Le Mans, his home race, was a special one for LCR Honda, and I'm so happy to see Honda finally end up on the top step of the podium after a very long time. I think it's 3 years now, and 2 years since their last podium. So yeah, really happy for Honda, and hoping to see more of Honda at least in the top 6 in 2025. If I were to talk of the other manufacturers like the KTMs or the Aprilias, well, Aprilia is really having a very tough time because they do not have the man at the helm available to them, Jorge Martin. Wishing him a speedy recovery again. And the rumors in the paddock say that probably he is going to exercise a performance clause to make an early exit from Aprilia and jump over to the Hondas. And I think his dear friend Alex Espargaro is going to be a major factor in convincing him to come to the Japanese outfit, since he is the test rider for Honda this season. Well, if I were to talk of the KTM's financial struggles and financial hurdles aside, they haven't really been setting the tracks alight. Pedro Acosta and Brad Binder really seem to be a mere shadow of what they were in 2024, and they don't really have that bike under them. Even though that KTM has some really good strong straight line speed, it's not able to match up to the factory Ducatis or the customer Ducatis for that matter. Just like Fabio Quartararo, there is another rider that one must look out for, and even though he has arrived a little late to the scene, he will be relevant nevertheless in this title battle between Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez, as well as Pecco Bagnaia, and that is Fermin Aldeguer. Fermin obviously had a slow start to the season, but he's slowly getting up to speed on that Gresini Ducati, and now he is able to match Alex Marquez ride for ride. Result for result, not yet, but it will happen eventually, and when it does happen, he will be the spanner in the works when it comes to denting results for Marc Marquez or Pecco Bagnaia for a race weekend for that matter. All said and done, even though we are only 6 races into the season, and for many it's just early days, I still believe Marc Marquez is the favorite to lift the crown, and Marc's biggest opponent is going to be Marc himself. He has to ensure that even though he rides aggressively, he doesn't go that one step more wherein it costs him results, something that we've seen from Marc in the past, and we still see him doing it this season too. If you were to look at that crash in Kota or that crash in Jerez, he was comfortably leading in Kota, and in Jerez he was definitely in contention for victory, and had those crashes not happened, he would have blown the competition out of the water by now. But yes, as things stand, Alex Marquez seems to be the biggest threat to Marc, even though he's on a bike that is an year older, the GP24. And like I said in the earlier part of the video, Mr. Davide Tordossi has said that there is not too big a difference between the GP24 and the GP25. If you actually look at Alex's career thus far, he did take some time to get up to speed in Moto2, and a very similar pattern is being seen in MotoGP. But like Marc used to say, you think I'm quick? You have to see my brother. And Alex is doing everything possible to ensure that he takes this championship as deep as possible. And I can assure you, should Marc make a mistake, or if Marc does crash in any of the upcoming rounds, it most probably will be Alex who will be picking up the pieces and ensuring that he keeps that championship deficit relevant for the fight. Well, this brings me to the end of this video. This seems to be more like a teaser to the title showdown, and even though we have another 16 rounds to go, many more test days, many more wildcard entries for the manufacturers playing catch up, and we might still see someone who enters the fray. But for now, this is a battle between the Marquez brothers, with Pecco Bagnaia still in the mix, ready to pounce on every opportunity that may present itself should the Marquez brothers slip up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do let me know in the comment section who your favorites are to lift the 2025 MotoGP title. I'm sure the majority of you, even if you all are not Marc Marquez fans, would agree that the Spaniard could be lifting his 9th world title. I will be leaving the links to my other social media handles in the description below. Should you wish to connect with me there, please feel free to do so. Thank you all for the support, and there is more content coming your way on my YouTube channel. There is travel happening as well in June and July, so my Instagram will be chock-a-block with updates, so do watch out for that space. And as promised, I will very soon be doing a feature on the collectibles that I own. You can see some right in the background there, but there will be more on the way. I'm in the final phase of my shifting and cleaning of the cupboards. Yeah, and I hope you guys are excited to see that as well. Anyways, guys, take care, stay safe. We have MotoGP happening in Silverstone this weekend, and followed by the Formula 1 race, the Monaco Grand Prix, which is definitely going to be a test of character, resolve, concentration, focus for all the Formula 1 drivers as they wriggle their way through the streets of Monaco 78 times before the checkered flag is finally waved. Anyways, take care guys, stay safe. This is Kimi Yang signing off. Ciao.